Welcome into the Slobberknocker Sports Podcast, episode 99.9. It's the third 99th episode.
Yes.
Because we keep putting off the 100th episode because we want to do something special, but we have busy lives, and then this is like very secondary to our lives, and we end up not doing anything, and then it's Wednesday, and we're like, well, fuck. So that's what's happened again.
We'll get a good 100th episode. Big Dog will obviously make an appearance. Jeremiah, no one knows if he actually exists. No one knows if he actually exists. I think I have a made-up brother who claims that he's going to come on this show for like the last 2 years.
Yes.
But I think we will. I know we'll see Big Dog. I think we'll see the notorious, legendary Jeremiah. And we'll see. And he's going to come in here hot. He's going to be screaming about Notre Dame and what a great football team they are.
Paul Feinbaum went off on them on their ranking the other day. You know how ridiculous it is.
The best is the guy on Le Batard's show who went to Miami that's on there and just is like
because they both have 2 losses.
Yes, and they're 2 ranks ahead of him, and he's like his head's about to explode. And Dan's just cracking up laughing. He goes, "Well, they did beat Notre Dame. It was the first week of the season, but they were also double-digit favorites and lost both those games." And the guy's like, "That doesn't fucking matter." He's just losing his mind.
I will say this. If it comes down to, like, it's funny because Miami's not going to get in, I don't think, and I think Notre Dame is. And if it comes down and they both end up with 2 losses, how on earth can you justify that? You absolutely cannot. You cannot justify it. Miami's schedule's tougher. They beat you, and they didn't just beat them. The final score, and you agreed with this, wasn't even close to indicative of how that game was. Miami dominated the game.
It was week 1, but yes, Miami was a much better team at that point. I will say this.
It's like, why play that game then if we're not going to even use it as a tiebreaker in a same loss?
And that's the same thing with, we'll get into all that. But here we go.
When we go to college football, we'll get into that. But let's jump in.
Oh, boy. Dropped your pen.
Dropped my pen. Let's jump into this. Okay. Do you have the video up so we can do that?
Start.
So hold on. I'll tell you when. We're gonna go to a couple of bad beats here before we jump into NFL, college football, all that. Before we do that real quick, make sure if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like this video, comment below. We will be doing our 100th episode hopefully next week. That if not, we'll do 99.99. That way we've run out of spots. We can't do any more. We'll be forced to do the 100th episode.
Correct.
Regardless, that will be next week hopefully, and we'll break down some of the NFL, college football today. Talk about the college football playoff rankings, all that good stuff. Before we do any of that, we're going to do some bad beats here. It's November, and that means it's college basketball time. And college basketball means it's bad beats time because there are bad beats every night in college basketball. And so I've got 2 of them for you. And full disclosure, this is taken. I took these 2 from SVP because they were worthy of.
They usually find the best ones.
Yeah, and usually I'm able to find a couple outside of it, but these were pretty bad. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, so we've got North Texas taking on Oregon State here. Now, Oregon State, we're looking at North Texas money line. They're plus 130 money line. All right. They're up by 7 with 1:50 to go, and it's going to be a steal dunk here for Oregon State. They're going to cut it to 5. It's an and 1 for Johan Munch, who is out of Denmark from Copenhagen. He's going to knock in the free throw. It's 60-64 now. Fast forward a few possessions. North Texas still up 4. We're at a minute to go. You have a money line, right? Plus 140. Next possession for Oregon State. Driving in, throwing it up. Josiah Lake gets it to go. It's a 2-point game with 51 seconds to go.
Great timeout there by Wayne Tinkle.
Wayne Tinkle and the boys mounting a comeback. Okay. North Texas with the ball now up 2. 50 seconds to go. And a travel is going to be called on Ja'Shawn Stevenson. After the travel, Oregon State's got the ball. 2-point game. Chance to tie it here. Driving in. Layup no good, and it's rebounded by David Terrell Jr., and he's going to go to the free throw line here with 20 seconds to go. They're up 2. It's a 1-and-1. He's an 83% free throw shooter. Okay? 1-and-1, though, and we know what happens with 1-and-1s in college basketball. He's got 13 points on the night. Again, 83% from the free throw line. Chance to put them up 2 possessions, but at least got to get 1 to get it to 3. Again, you've got North Texas money line. First free throw up. It's short. No good. Rebound Oregon State. Here they come. Chance to tie or take the lead with a 3. Josiah Lake going to find Munch. Driving down the lane, he throws it up, no good, and it's rebounded again by North Texas. They're fouled again, this time with 9.8 to go. But guess what? It's still the 1-and-1. And this time, Will McClendon's going to the line. He's 84% from the free throw line on the year. And he's going to miss that. And here comes Josiah Lake the other way with 5 seconds, driving with 4. He's going to throw it out of bounds, but he's fouled. He's fouled, and Oregon State's in the double bonus, so he's got 2 free throws and a chance to tie the game here. Lake is an 81% free throw shooter. That number may hold true here, though. And the first one for Lake, I love the behind-the-back free throw routine, by the way. You know it's going in at that point. First one's up and good, 1-point game, 3.6 to go. Now, keep in mind, North Texas has to get this in quickly as he makes the second and ties the game. They're going to wait a second. Neither team with any timeouts. Take it back. Oregon State has 1 timeout left. And they're going to get this in with 3.6 to go. And Stevenson's going to call timeout, and they do not have any timeouts left. He pulled a Chris Webber.
Yikes.
And the officials are getting together. Head coach knows it. The fans know it. They're calling for the T right now in the stands. And there's nothing anybody can do because now we're putting Josiah Lake back at the free throw line, who just nailed 2. He's got 2 shots. Going with the behind-the-back routine again. Lake's first one is good. That's the big one. Now, keep in mind, North Texas does get the ball back here.
Oh,
it's
they do? Okay.
Tech, so they get the ball back, and they get it back where they had it.
Yeah.
So they have one more shot here. They're going to get it in. Arnett's going to throw up a shot at the buzzer.
Crazy fucking 3.
It's not close.
The fact that it even hit the backboard is impressive.
Yep. All right, we're going to go to number 2 here. That was a pretty bad one.
Looks like he blew his knee out, too, in that last shot. Was that great?
I think he just was embarrassed at the air ball. All right. SMU is laying 10.5. I'm sorry, Murray State's catching 10.5 here. Okay, catching 10.5. The Racers at SMU were under 50 seconds to go. They're down by 11, so they're not covering at this point. Boopy Miller has it out near midcourt, and it's going to be stolen away by Murray State. The Racers are going to race down the court, no pun intended, and throw up a shot. It's no good, but he's fouled here. Okay, so Murray State to the free throw line for 2. First one rolls around the rim and in. Now you're covering. Okay, 10.5. You got 10.5 here, 38 seconds to go. Are they going to foul here? Are they not? Free throws missed. SMU's going to grab the rebound here, but Murray State's still playing hard. They signed up for 40 minutes, and after the first shoulder, the second one now is going to be called. So an offensive foul called on SMU, and it's going to go back to the Racers, who are going to run a nice little baseline out of bounds set here. They're going to throw it in, and they're going to get a nice little layup to cut it to 8. Now, you're covering by 3 now, or by 2.5 now, right? You're down by 8. You're catching 10.5. Even if you foul here and they make both and you don't score, right, you're going to cover because you're down. You got 10.5. And Murray State's probably going to foul here. If they don't foul, you're going to win. So SMU's going to get it into Boopy Miller. Boopy's going to throw it across midcourt. And we're going to fast forward here as Murray State decides not to foul. They do not foul. And they are up by only 8. You're going to cover. You're good. But if you look in the front row here, look at the fans. They all the students, especially this kid, is yelling, shoot a 3.
All the kids are
shoot
like,
a 3.
Cover the spread.
Please
shoot a
3. And this kid now realizes, oh, I'm dead.
All the
They're just going to dribble it out.
pick goobers.
But look, they're all screaming, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it.
Shoot it.
And Boopy Miller is going to abide here. Boopy decides, you know what? Fuck it. This one's for the boys. Bang.
Oh, no.
In your eye hole.
I don't think the coach is happy about that.
In your eye hole. Look at the boys going nuts. Beers are on them tonight. That is right down the hatch.
That is.
And that's a cover if you go back in SMU.
That is pretty bad there.
That's a pretty bad one right there. Oh, man.
That's front row yelling at him to shoot.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever actually seen that.
It's the world we live in.
Yeah, like back in the day, you would never see a guy take a shot like that, but you got half the fans screaming for you.
Yeah.
And Boopy wanted to get one for the boys, and he did. And the fraternity guys are going out.
Yeah,
they're
going crazy.
They all owe Boopy Miller a 12-pack.
Boopy Miller.
Boopy's a baller. Don't hate on Boopy. All right.
Boopy.
Top 5 college basketball name, maybe.
Hell of a name.
We got to redo those this year. That was a good little short last year. Okay.
Oh, did we? Oh, yeah. We had that was a good short.
Yeah, it was a good
My
short.
all-time favorite was Chicken Knowles.
Wait,
played for Houston.
I don't think we ever did that one.
Oh, he was before. I mean, I don't maybe remember.
Oh, he's before my time.
Oh, I thought we were doing all time. I thought we were just doing present day.
We did do present day. Yeah.
No, Chicken Knowles played years ago.
Chicken Knowles is a good name.
He was a guard out of Houston. Imagine that.
I believe the
great player.
Top one went to Po' Boy King last year, and his middle name was Izza. Po' Boy Izza King. It's a pretty good one.
That is a good one.
All right. Let's dive in here. Before we go into like specific NFL college football, I actually do have a news or fake news.
Oh boy! All right, let's hear it. I haven't looked at anything, so
I was thinking this might be I was thinking this might be the 100th episode. We got to do some of our old segments, so got a news or fake news. So we're gonna try it here. All right, we're gonna go around a couple different sports here. Let's start. It's time to play news or fake news. Number 1, LeBron James was sent down to the G League following an injury, at which point, on the same night, Bronny James was set to make his second career start for the Los Angeles Lakers. News or fake news?
I want to say that's news only because the Lakers have everybody hurt, from my understanding. And I did see that LeBron was going to play a G League game, which I thought was very strange.
And he did play in the G League, and that is news.
Yeah.
And Bronny did start. He's still only averaging 1 point per game.
Bronny's the man, dude.
Bronny's shooting 20% from the free throw line. But yes, that actually is news. And
LeBron is coming back.
Well, he played last night, and he had like some crazy 1,000-plus game streak of scoring double figures. And so they played him enough minutes just to get to 11 points and then pulled him. So he did get some run last night. And yes, the Lakers are very injured. By the way, NBA, not that we're watching a ton of NBA right now. Football's still going on, but Spurs are playing pretty good, 10-4.
Sucks that Wemby's hurt again.
Sucks that Wemby's hurt. He's out for a couple weeks with a calf strain. But it also sucks that we blew the NBA Cup game to the Warriors. We lost back-to-back to the Warriors, but the first one didn't matter.
Oh, well, it mattered, but it wasn't the NBA Cup.
It didn't matter for the NBA Cup, and we were already 1-0. We'd already beat the Rockets, so that would have been a big win for us. Now it's going to be tough. Okay.
That NBA Cup, I'm worried sick. Terrible loss. That was a great game, though. That is like the only, I think that might be the only regular season basketball game I've watched, like all of it. Just happened to have it on at the bar I was at, and I just saw Curry go bananas and score 49, and we still should have won the game.
He went bananas both nights, back-to-back games. He was awesome.
Yeah, he always gets up for playing San Antonio.
Just horrible late game execution. Thank you, Mitch Johnson. Okay, we'll move on. Number 2, and we did not watch NFL together this weekend, so I don't know if you saw this. I would assume you did.
I thought we watched Sunday. No, early.
We
Sunday.
did. I'm taking it back.
Sunday.
We just didn't watch the night
Monday
game together.
night. Yeah,
I take it back. We didn't
watch God's team, the Dallas Cowboys.
I forgot we did. What am I saying? Okay, number 2, Jamar Chase. Oh, you know what? I think you told me this one. Now that I think about this,
it's true.
No, Jamar Chase was. Oh, hold on. Jamar Chase was given a 1-game suspension for spitting on Jalen Ramsey in Sunday's games. That news or fake news?
That's news. He denied doing it, but someone has like a, with everybody having cameras out, has a like slow-mo of him loogie on Jalen Ramsey and Jalen Ramsey throwing hands. The best was Tomlin when they went to him, and he's like, "Do you have anything to say about Jalen Ramsey?" He's like, the guy spit on him. He's like, I'm not going to tell him not to do anything. He spit on him. He goes, basically was like, yeah, I would have done the same thing. He spit on him.
The fact that, I guess, that was pretty good, pretty secretive spit there by Jamar Chase. Nobody caught it until after the game. And he must have thought nobody caught it on camera because he denied it. Although I will give Jamar Chase this. He used a double negative when he was denying it. So he actually said that he did spit on him, if you want to use correct grammar there. But anyway.
Which he does not, but hell of a football player.
He is quite the receiver. Not gonna, don't think it's very cool to spit on somebody. And I guess because I thought it was interesting he got a 1-game suspension because Jalen Carter did not. But I guess because that was on the first play of the game, they basically counted that as a suspension. But it is weird to me that they didn't give Jalen Carter a suspension and did give Jamar Chase 1 game. But I don't know. I guess you can just say he got the game for not playing week 1.
Oh,
basically.
yeah.
Because it was the first play of the game.
That's why he didn't get suspended. Yeah, because it was literally, I don't think any time came off the clock even. It was a penalty. I think it was a touchback or maybe, 8 seconds, a touchback or something. It was run out and then he spit on him. Yes. Yeah. There's false start or whatever the hell it was. Yeah, correct.
And he should have been thrown out of the game. Okay. Number 3, Deion Sanders said in a press conference this weekend that he's unsure about his future with Colorado following their 3rd straight loss and a 3-7 start to the season.
Absolutely not. Deion Sanders would never say that. Deion Sanders is a warrior. That's fake news.
That is fake news. Yeah. He actually said he is the right man for the job despite the 3-7 start. He fully believes that. He's going to get the boys right in Boulder.
You know what? I'm actually Team Deion now. I used to be a hater. And he deserved somewhat of the hate in the sense that, the Instagram handles on the back of the practice jerseys and all that bullshit and, retiring his own son's number after a year, 2 years at Colorado or whatever it was. But I mean, I do think Deion's a warrior. I appreciate Deion. I mean, he's got a porter potty on the sidelines, for God's sake. He's out there battling.
Well, he's out there battling with 6 toes, 7 toes now? I mean,
correct. And like a colostomy bag, so he's doing the best he can.
Look, I think Deion, I think he's a nice guy. I think he means well. He's just not a good football coach. He's 16-19 at Colorado, okay? It's just not very good.
Right.
He had the Heisman Trophy winner one year too. Now, I guess you could argue he had Shedeur Sanders and won 9 games, and that's actually impressive when you look at what Shedeur actually is. Regardless, that is fake news. All right, number 4. Cam Skattebo was facing criticism this week following a WWE appearance and skit.
I saw it somehow scrolling, and I would say yes because I believe, the guy has the dislocated ankle or whatever the hell it is, and he's literally doing a WWE stunt. Now, keep in mind, he's just in the front row shaking the guy. I did see it, but I'm sure he did get some criticism because when I saw that, I was like, didn't that guy just have surgery or, whatever, trying to heal? Like, it's probably not the best time to be in the WWE.
That's exactly what everybody said. It was like, like going to the WWE is fine, but like, there's a chance you re-injure it there, and now it looks really bad. Your whole team is like you, Neighbors, and Dart going forward, and you're dealing with this big injury, and you're going to go do a skit with the WWE. But going to the event, like, who cares? But
right.
The fact that he could have gotten re-injured, I guess. I mean, I don't really care. I don't give a shit. He came out and said something about it later on. It was like, I'm going to live my life however I fucking want to.
Like it.
Yeah.
Like it.
Okay. There were no valuables stolen from Shedeur Sanders' house in the break-in during his first career NFL performance.
There were no valuables. The only way you could possibly come up with this is valuables were stolen, and I did hear that story that $200,000.
Wow, you got the number on the dot.
Worth of valuables were stolen.
So you didn't look at anything. You've been reading the news.
No, I don't know where I saw that. Maybe that was on just a headline on ESPN, perhaps. But yes. Shedeur played a really bad football game and got robbed. It was a bad Sunday for him. 4 for 16, 45 yards, an interception. I think he took 2 or 3 sacks, and he was robbed. Not the best day for Shedeur.
No, it was not a good day for Shedeur. He was robbed. He was 4 of 16 with a pick. Not rough weekend, put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go. That was 5. I've got some bonus ones. I'll throw them out here real quick.
Maybe you can stump me on one. Who knows?
Well, I don't think I will. These were more to go through these topics. But here's a good one. Okay, the Rams are now the favorite to win the Super Bowl in Vegas following their win over the Seahawks on Sunday.
It's fake news.
Who's the favorite?
Probably the. Who's been winning all the games? I will say the Philadelphia Eagles.
And that is correct. Yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles are now the favorite. The Rams are the second favorite behind the Philadelphia Eagles, which I think is absurd, but, whatever.
Credit
to you. The Seahawks turned the ball over 4 times on the road on Sunday and still had a chance to win the game. Darnold's just so bad. I don't think the Rams are Super Bowl contenders. They're contenders. I just don't think they legitimately can win a Super Bowl with that team.
No, the Eagles can't throw the ball.
No, they can't, and there's not a great team, but there's a lot of teams I would take over them, I think, right now. But they're playing good football. They're playing better than most teams. And you could argue they had the Eagles beat. They were dominating on most of the games. I don't necessarily think the Eagles are the best team. But I will say this. The defense looked pretty fucking good last week. And
last couple weeks
they've looked like, and that's kind of what happened last year. They didn't look great early. Fangio got them going, and they ended up being like very dominant as of late. So, all right, 2 more quick ones. Kingston Flemings, a local San Antonio basketball player, is leading the number 2 ranked Houston Cougars in scoring through their 5-0 start.
I feel like that has to be fake news. If it's not, it's very, very impressive.
It is news.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it either. I went to check their scores, and
they have a lot of veteran players on that team.
Yeah, they do. And I was going to check their scores because I was curious to see how he was doing, just expecting him to maybe be coming off the bench or something. Maybe chipping in. No, I was said 5-0. They're 4-0. He's starting point guard. He averages 30 minutes per game. He is averaging 17.3 points.
Wow, good for him.
5.3 assists, 3.5 rebounds, a little under a steal. He's shooting 69% from the field and 40% from 3.
Man,
and 84.6% from the free throw line.
If he's playing that well, it'll be interesting to see where he is in mock drafts. Like
he's absurdly athletic, and he's 6'4".
Yeah.
And that includes. I don't think Houston's as good as everybody thinks this year, but this includes a game against. Oh,
I heard that Auburn. Yeah, it kind of at a neutrals in Birmingham, and apparently they barely beat them.
They beat them by 1, and
Bruce
Kingston
Pearl's kid was losing his mind. Apparently, there was a no call at the end of the game where it went down, and there was a steal. And anyway.
Auburn kind of got screwed, but Kingston Flemings against Auburn 22 points, 8 of 13 from the field, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 7 assists, 5 rebounds.
I wonder how much money he's getting a year at Houston.
It's a good question. I don't know how much they pay.
I think Fertitta pays a lot of people there now, especially the basketball team. I bet he's getting close to $1 million a year there.
You think really that much for basketball?
At least 5, yeah. Because if they, what number recruit was he in the country? Wasn't he like in the top 30 at the end of it all?
Yeah, but you think the top 30 are each getting $1 million?
Yeah. At basketball schools, I do. Because I think so. My guess would be like $700,000.
He was 22nd.
Yeah.
His offers were Bama, Baylor, LSU, TCU, Tennessee, Texas, A&M, and Tech, and then Houston. But I mean, he probably had wherever he wanted to go. But that's
my guess. Would be like $700,000. Think about it, dude. Think about how much money goes into the football program. And it's like, if you can go get the 22nd best player in the country to come to your school, and you're a guy like Tillman Fertitta, they're trying to win a basketball championship at Houston, that's their most relevant sport for sure at this point. Like, you're going to spend $10 million to $15 million on the football team. Why wouldn't you spend 10 on the basketball team? You know what I mean? I don't know what they spend. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, you might be right. I'm trying to look it up, but I don't really see anything that like shows actual numbers. I would have just my guess would have been like I would think freshman, unless you're like AJ DiBenazza or whatever his name is.
Yeah, but he got like $7 million?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, his name is worth that, and he was such a big name. He was the number one guy. Like, I'm curious, you think like after the top 10, what do they really get? Are they getting $100,000? Are they getting $1 million? I was thinking maybe like 300 to 400 maybe is what he got. But you could, in today's day and age, the way they pay these guys, you absolutely could be right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But either way, I'm glad to see he's doing good, rooting for the San Antonio kid. And that's, I mean, that is impressive. Houston kids usually don't start as freshmen, let alone be their leading scorer. I mean, you have to be pretty damn tough-minded and good to be able to do that.
Yep.
And we knew how talented he was. We saw him as sophomore, and we're like, that kid's unbelievable. He's going to the league, and he is. He's gonna be an NBA player very soon. Okay, let's go to the NFL. Let's talk a little NFL here. We won't like necessarily recap last week because we're already at Wednesday here, but we can kind of look forward to week 12.
Let's look at the playoff picture here.
So, we can start with the Thursday night game, which is tomorrow night. And you know what? Let's do that. Let's look at the playoff picture first. So, I actually wrote this down. And let me find it here. But essentially, we've got a very interesting scenario like in both the conferences. So when you look at the AFC first, right now the division leaders are the Broncos. If the playoffs started today, the Broncos would have the bye at number 1. Although the Colts have the tiebreaker over them, they're just 8-2, and the Broncos are 9-2. So I believe the Colts would jump both the Patriots and the Broncos if they won. But regardless, Broncos 1, Patriots leading their division 2, Colts leading their division 3, Steelers leading their division at 6-4. Then the Bills would be the first wild card, the Chargers would be the second, and the Jags would be the third. Houston, Kansas City, and Baltimore would all be out of the playoffs if it started today. In the NFC, the Eagles will be 1. The Eagles are currently 1. The Rams 2. Bears are 3. Bucks are 4. And then the wild card is the Seahawks, Packers, and Niners. The Lions would be out of the playoffs if it started today.
Really?
Yep. They would be. Wow. They are currently the 8th seed, and the Panthers and the Cowboys are 9 and 10 right now. So you look at it, 3 of the 4 teams that were in the conference championships last year, if you started the playoffs today, would not be in the playoffs. Pretty wild. But that said, you're seeing teams like the Broncos were in the playoffs last year, but now they're up kind of towards the top of the division. The Bills are still in. The Chargers made the playoffs last year. They look about the same. In the NFC, similar. Rams, Eagles, Bucks, Niners, Packers. They were all, I guess the Niners missed the playoffs last year, but the Packers, they were all in the playoffs. Where do you want to start here? You want to start AFC, NFC?
Let's start in the NFC.
All right, let's go in the NFC. Okay. Which of the division leaders least likely to hang on to a playoff spot here? Eagles, Rams, Bears, Bucks. It's really Bears or Bucks.
Yeah, I would say the Bears.
You think the Bears? Do you think the Bears will hang on to? Do you think the Bears will get in the playoffs or win the division?
I don't think they'll win the division. I think it's 50-50 if they get in the playoffs. But what are they? 7-2 or something, or 7-3? I can't remember what their record is.
Yes, they're 7-3 now.
Yeah. I think the Lions ultimately will catch them. I think they play one more time probably. My Lions beat the hell out of them.
They beat the living shit out of them,
Yeah.
and I believe it was in Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Lions ultimately will end up winning that division. Lions are a pretty good football team. If Dan Campbell's never going to stop going for it, that's his DNA. That's what he does. When he's right, people love him. When he's wrong, it's what an idiot. I do agree, and I do. Here's the problem with him. I love the fact that that's who he is, and that's what his team loves about him. Guys love that he has faith that when he kick field goals. When you're playing the Eagles, and it's 4th and 5 from the 5, and it's a 1-score game, just take the points. Even the analytics are telling you to kick it at that point. If the analytics are telling you to go, by all means, and you're aggressive, you go for it every time. But there's several times that he would go for it where it's like, the analytics are telling you to, I guarantee you, they're telling you to kick. And most of the times, analytics are like, yeah, go for it, be aggressive. But it's like, when you're on the 5-yard line, you kick a field goal. It's like, and with the field condensed there, it's just, anyway, especially against the Eagles defense, you have good drives, just take the points.
Yeah.
If they take the points, they win the game more than likely.
They
were down there, they failed 5 fourth down conversions?
If you include the most obvious fake punt I've ever seen, I literally said out loud, they're about to fake it. They showed the camera on Dan Campbell's face, and he's like, making the most, it was like the worst poker face you've ever seen in your entire life. The Eagles didn't even take their starting defense off the field.
Right.
And they still snapped it.
It's like, why are
it.
you faking it with, there's no point doing that. Just go for it.
So they were 0 for 4 on 4th down. If you include the fake punt, they were 0 for 5. So they were.
I include it, 0 for 5.
It is, you should include it. It's 0 for 5 on 4th down. So that's the thing. That's essentially 5 turnovers right there, right? So it's 6, they had 6 turnovers in this game. That's what's actually kind of impressive about what, if you think about it, and I'll come back to Dan Campbell real quick, but the defense for Detroit played awesome. Holding Philly to 16 points. The offense put them in horrible situation after horrible situation. I think in the first half, the Eagles started in Lions territory 4 times and came away off those drives with 3 points, I believe. Their lone touchdown drive was a longer drive that didn't start in their territory, but it was just play after play. Even you look yards per play, the Lions had averaged 5.3, the Eagles 3.9.
Yeah, I thought
they outgained them in every category. It was just Dan Campbell refusing to kick field goals and going for it in no man's land. Now, I'll give him this. I will say this. The wind was pretty crazy.
It was, yeah.
Going one direction.
Right.
And so they had, when Jamison Williams scored the touchdown, you never see the coach take the penalty on the try, because these kickers, it doesn't make a difference from 32 or 48. Well, Sirianni took it on the try, and Bates sliced it 4 yards right. So it did matter. So when you're at the 40-yard line, if when they were going that direction, if you're anywhere between the 43 and the 30 at that point, it was worth it to go for it. That said, the Eagles were getting nonstop pressure on Jared Goff, who was not throwing the ball well all game long, and they just kept dropping back and throwing on 4th and 3, 4th and 4, 4th and 5, and the Eagles knew what they were doing, and he had no chance. He had absolutely no chance. He's not good outdoors anyway. And look, Dan, that is the thing. If this was any other coach, and the wind was a little bit of a factor, if that was any other coach, people would be calling for him to be fired. But that's what Brandon Staley did for a while, where he just went for it every time, and everybody with Dan Campbell's like, oh, well, that's just Dan. It cost him the game, cost him the playoffs against the Niners to go to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. It did. I like Dan Campbell. He's changed the culture. He's phenomenal.
That's
the
thing.
Can't do that.
You change the culture, they just let you do whatever you want. Like I said, I don't mind it most of the time when it makes some kind of logical sense. We're talking about the same guy who went down and scored against the Cowboys, got a 10-yard penalty, and still went for 2. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
I know.
Man? I'm like, why would you do that? And in the press conference, he goes, I told the guys, we're going to go down and score. We're going to go for 2. We're going to win the game. They go, Dan, we understand that. From the 3, that's fine. But when you got moved back to the 13-yard line, Dan, you kicked the extra point. Once again, told the guys we're going to go down there and score. We're going to go for 2 and win the game. And that's just who he is. And
emotional.
It's his players love it, so it is what it is. But in that game, and like you said, you did make a good point about the wind. The wind was nuts. I do remember seeing it just the flagpoles in one direction going. But it's when you're inside, the 30, you can easily make those field goals still. So
no, I
don't know.
I completely agree, but
they did outplay the Eagles in my opinion.
Take away from the game, I would say, is if you're just looking at the box score, you're like, man, Philly's defense was great. Detroit got beat by a better team. Like, I don't know if that's the case. I think Dan Campbell going for it, the win playing a factor, right? Like, if these two teams play in a controlled environment,
if that was indoors, the Lions
probably
would
win the game. And now that said, they're going to have to go on the road, given the fact that they're 6-4 now.
Right.
They're not going to be playing in the confines of Ford Field. So they're going to be going probably to Philadelphia to get to a Super Bowl. Now, and Jared Goff's going to have to step up and perform. That said, if they convert 2 of those 5 fourth downs, which is probably more close to their average, they probably still win the game. And so going forward, like I'll give Dan this. At least he doesn't change his tune. Like, right. At least it's like, okay, well, it's 4th and 5 from the 45 here, and I just went for it 3 times and we didn't get it. I'm fucking going for it again. I'm just going to play the numbers at that point, because if I just pick and choose when I do it, it doesn't work. If you're going to go for it, you better do it every damn time. So I'll give him the consistency part of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what plays in it, too, is like, if you are going to go that approach, then you really do kind of have to go for it every time.
You do.
I mean, you do. So it's frustrating
if it's analytically
for people.
correct.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, if it's saying, hey, you got to go, whatever, go. But anyway, they're a tough team to play indoors, the Lions. But yeah, when you get outdoors, Jared Goff and the elements is not fantastic by any stretch.
Shocked me that the Lions are sitting out of the playoffs, but you look at it. I mean, like, look how good some of these teams are. That, like, the Seahawks to me are one of the best teams in the league. I know we saw what we saw from Sam Darnold this weekend, which is why Minnesota, whether that was a right or wrong decision, didn't want to keep him, because it's like, okay, yeah, he might show to be really good in the regular season, but when a big game comes around, who he is comes out, and that's what we saw in LA. That was why a lot of professional money was on the Rams that weekend, because Sam Darnold in those situations tends to have his nuts shrivel up, and he threw 4 picks. That's what he does. It's the 3rd career game with 4 interceptions. Can't do it. That's who he is. That said, Seattle's a very good football team. They're 5th right now in the NFC, right? The Niners have been through injury after injury and keep winning. They're a very good football team. They're 7th. They're barely in the playoffs. A good team's getting left out here, right? A good team's going to get left out. I actually venture to guess it's going to be the Bears. Now, I haven't looked at their schedule. I'd have to pull it up right here. But, if their schedule is somewhat difficult, that's the team I think that gets left out here. It's going to be them, I guess, or the Niners more than likely. Like, I don't see, because the Bucs are going to get in by winning the division. Panthers
the Bears have a pretty tough schedule. They get to play Pittsburgh without Rodgers this week, but then they go at Philly, at Green Bay, a winnable game versus Cleveland, but then they go Green Bay, San Francisco, Detroit.
Man. I think they end up missing the playoffs. That's my prediction. I mean, Caleb Williams.
I mean, the ESPN matchup deal, even with them being 7-3, said they only have a 55% chance to go.
Because they have to win their division to get in my opinion. I don't think they're going to get in by wild card with those other teams there. Question, since we're talking about the Bears, and I know we were kind of joking about, my dad was talking about how Caleb has the game-winning drives. And it counts as a game-winning drive when you don't even throw a damn pass.
Yep, that's correct.
Obviously, nobody gives him credit for doing anything the last 2 game-winning drives. He didn't complete a single pass in either of those drives to win the game. Do you think? I guess what's your take on Caleb Williams up to this point in the season, where we're at right now? Like, the Bears are winning football games, but it's really not in any way because of him. He's not playing all that well. And there's a new report out today that Ben Johnson is secretly not happy with Caleb Williams, that he's not what Ben Johnson wants. Do you think Caleb is going to be the quarterback here for a long time, or is this going to be a Ben Johnson making a big change here soon?
I don't know. I mean, he's stuck with him for at least the next 2 years after this, whatever his contract is. I don't think the organization's going to let him get rid of him. I mean, you look at his stats, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks. His QBR is 54, right? It's, towards the bottom. What is that, like? It says 18th.
But yeah,
he's not horrible. He hasn't been as good as people thought he was going to be. Obviously, I think it's certainly too early to give up on him. I just, coming from the offenses that he came from in college, and just, not even close to pro-style offenses. We've always thought that Jalen Daniels and what's his name, Drake May were better.
Yeah,
but I mean, I think Caleb can still have a decent career. I just don't think he's going to be. I think you'll see him be an All-Pro quarterback. I think he will be around
All-Pro.
Yeah, maybe like once or twice in his career.
All-Pro is like 1 or two in the league.
I think it's like, what, 3 guys? No. Sorry, Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl. Okay. Pro Bowl's different.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl, that's doable.
Yeah. Because there's 3 on each side. Yeah.
Mac Jones.
I think you're going to see
on
him.
each side, and you see 2 guys drop out every year, so there ends up being like 5 Pro Bowl quarterbacks. There's like 10.
Yeah.
Fucking Mac Jones was a Pro Bowl quarterback his rookie year.
Yeah.
All pro is different. All pro, you have to actually be fucking good.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, that scared me for a second.
I meant
there.
Pro Bowl.
Okay, big different distinction.
Yeah, but if you play long enough, you can make Pro Bowl.
Absolutely,
but yeah, all
you
pros
can.
a little bit different. Correct.
But I will say this, and tell me, am I being picky here? Am I being a hater because I do dislike Caleb?
Oh yeah, you hate him.
No, I do. But in all seriousness, 7 of his touchdowns this season have come against the Dallas Cowboys week 3 in the worst version of the worst defense, second worst defense, and then a couple weeks ago against the Bengals, who is the worst defense I've ever seen, specifically pass defense. He threw 3 touchdowns in that game. So 7, if you take the 2 worst defenses in the league out of there, in 8 games he's thrown 7 touchdowns, 4 picks, and he's averaging like around 200 yards per game. He's completing, even including those 2 games, which were 2 games that he completed a pretty high percentage of his passes. At least in the Dallas game, he was 19 to 28, 68%. He's completing below 60% of his passes right now, right? And they have not played that difficult of a schedule defensively. So, I don't know. From what I've seen, yes, I'm a hater. This is crazy to say, and because I don't like this guy I'm about to bring up, I would take Bo Nix over Caleb Williams right now. If you gave me the option to start over.
I don't think that's like a wild take.
No, I don't think it is. I'm just saying I hate Bo Nix, and I don't think he's good, and I would take Bo Nix over him right now. I really would.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, I'm with you. You are a bit of a Caleb Williams hater. I don't think he's great, but I think it's way too early really to tell, too. So we'll see.
Of course, you see on ESPN, as I'm looking at him, Dan Orlovsky says Caleb Williams is evolving into a problem solver. Stephen A. Smith, Caleb Williams is showing us what he's made of. After that awesome performance where he drove him down the field, he was 16 to 32 for 193 yards and didn't complete a single pass on the final drive, 23.7 QBR. He's showing us what he's made of. Okay, moving on here. We talked a little bit about the Patriots last week.
Yep.
They're currently second. I believe they're on a bye this week. In their division, the Bills go on the road to Houston this week on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, I expect them to take care of business.
You think
there.
the Bills will play well on the road?
Stroud is out. It's Davis Mills, and not that Stroud's great, but listen, I still think he's a little bit better than Davis Mills. So, yes, I do think Buffalo ultimately will find a way to win this game on the road. They looked, especially with how bad they looked against Miami a few weeks ago, sleepwalking. They're not going to take this game lightly, in my opinion. I think you see them win the game by 14. I'm going to go 20. I'll go 28, 13, something like that. 27-13.
Does this version of Buffalo, who, by the way, record-wise, is 1 loss behind the Broncos for first place in the whole AFC. So they're not out of the picture whatsoever to still have home field advantage to some extent. Does this version of Buffalo need to play at home in order to get to a Super Bowl from what we've seen through the first 10 weeks?
No, the only reason I say that is because the teams that are ahead of them, I think they can beat those teams on the road. Besides the Broncos, maybe
That's a good point.
But yeah, it's Bo Nix and it's Bo Nix versus Josh Allen. Listen, I'm going to back Josh Allen in that game.
100%. I am too.
I think that's the thing. So it's like, even if they have to go to Indy or if they go to the Patriots, the Patriots are a really good football team, but I still think they're 2 years away, right? They, big play receiver, and Drake May is great, and I think he's pretty unflappable, but I don't expect him to just run the table and get to the Super Bowl this year.
And they don't have enough receivers.
So that's why I think the Bills ultimately still get there in the AFC. I think they're gonna make it happen.
I hope they do. I just don't trust McDermott, and the defense has not looked great even last week.
Defense is weird. I mean, they just dominated that KC game, and it's like, Miami hangs 30 on them. Obviously, Tampa scored 32. Yeah, I mean, listen, in the playoffs, I think they're going to have to win shootouts. I wouldn't count on the defense, I mean, I don't think Josh Allen's going to have to do it. Now, the lack of options and weapons for Josh Allen, besides James Cook, is alarming. There's really nobody there.
Yeah, there's not.
Shakir's a okay wide receiver 2 other places, a decent one, right? Definitely not a wide receiver 1. Keon Coleman's done absolutely nothing.
What has happened to him?
I don't know. So, I mean, I ultimately think the Bills get there, and it's mainly just because they're not going to have to go on the road to Arrowhead, right?
Yeah.
And if they have to go on the road, I expect them to be able to handle those teams on the road.
I do think Buffalo wins this week as well, but I think they have looked not nearly as good. I mean, on the road, they're 5-1 at home and 2-2 on the road. And I know Houston's starting Davis Mills, but that defense has been pretty damn good for Houston. Yeah, I'll take the Bills. I think they win it. I think it's a low-scoring, tight game. I'm going to say Buffalo wins it by a touchdown. I think they barely cover that number. Looking ahead to Sunday, and I know we didn't. We'll just kind of touch on a few of these games since we kind of touched a little bit on the playoff picture on each side. Eagles-Cowboys is the primetime 3 o'clock afternoon game. It's in Dallas. Philly laying just 3.5. Division game. We've seen the Eagles' struggles offensively. Dallas's defense has been horrible, but they traded for Quinnen Williams. They have gotten a few healthy guys back in the secondary and in the linebacker. They got Overshown back, who was a really good player for them before he got injured as a rookie out of Texas. So they're getting healthy on the defensive end. They looked better defensively, given they played the Raiders, right? Understandably. Does Dallas have a shot here? Or
divisional game, I think you always have a shot. The Eagles' inability to throw helps Dallas a lot. Hopefully they just play. I hope that they play more man this game. I haven't been, I'm not a diehard Cowboys fan, so I haven't seen like what the splits are. I know early on, Everflus was dropping back into zone like 94% of the time.
Yep.
You can't do that, but if you try to play man to man against the Eagles and make, load the box and make Hurts have to throw it to beat you, you may get a couple turnovers, may be able to win the game. I mean, ultimately, I think the Eagles are just a far, far better team on paper all the way through. I'm going to say they win the game, but I'll say by, the line's 3.5. I'll say they win it by like 6. I mean, it could be 3, could be 6. I don't think it's a blowout, but hopefully the Cowboys do the right things and, make Jalen throw it.
Yeah, and I weirdly think Dallas is going to win this game.
They might.
I
don't want to be shocked.
I'm not saying that as a Cowboys fan. This is the least I've ever cared about the Cowboys because I truly think they're horrific, and it doesn't matter that the season's irrelevant. They're not going to the playoffs. If they do go to the playoffs, they're not winning anything, right? They're just not good enough. But the way the offenses looked, they are a top 3 offense in football. You could argue they're the best offense in football, right now. I mean, who's been better than them? And
they've been pretty good.
Pickens and Lamb, they've had a couple duds. They've had like 2 duds, the Cardinals game on the road and the game against Chicago early in the year. Besides that, the offense has been the best offense in football. So I just think if the defense is good enough to hold up and limit Philly, and what we saw was a Lions defense with a ton of injuries do just that, right? Made Jalen throw the ball, they couldn't do it, right? And averaged less than 4 yards for playing the game. So I think if Dallas isn't, like you said, if Dallas has a half decent game plan, this is a tight game. Weirdly, I think 3.5 is too big. I think this should be a straight field goal. The way Dallas looked last week and the way Phillies looked offensively, just in terms of the numbers they're putting up scoring the ball.
Yeah, it's just Dallas look at the week before where they got
throat
punched by the Cardinals at home. And the Cardinals are horrific.
Agreed.
So they just don't, that's why it's 3.5, I'm sure.
But I do think Dallas does that against worse teams a lot of times. They come out not ready to play.
They could have easily won the game week 1 against the Eagles. Obviously, Jalen Carter didn't play in the game, which helps, but they could have easily won that game.
I mean, the only other
CeeDee Lamb dropping all the balls.
Right. The only good teams they've played at home this year was the Packers on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football in Week 4. It was a 40-40 tie. And then the Commanders, before they lost Jaden Daniels, and they beat the living shit out of them at home.
Right.
They usually play better at home. They usually play pretty well against the Eagles when they have Dak. When they're I think Dak's had pretty decent success against Philly. So I don't know. I just have a feeling Dallas wins this game, and I think that this is their season if you think about it, right? Like if they lose this game, the next 2 games are the Chiefs at home and at the Lions. So you lose this game to Philly, then start this gauntlet, and you go, what are they? They'd go 4-6-1. You're dead, right? Don't understand why Jerry made that trade for Williams this late in the year when you're not really a contender, but nothing he does makes any sense anymore. Okay.
He's a mad scientist, genius.
One last NFL game. Or I guess we have – no, sorry. We'll do 2 more real quick. The game of the day in the morning or the early games is the Colts at the Chiefs. Chiefs at home at Arrowhead, laying the same number as the Eagles, 3.5. Colts are 8-2, haven't looked as good the last couple weeks, haven't looked like that team we saw early in the year. Talk about your season. I mean, could the Chiefs still get the playoffs with a loss here? Yes, but this would be tough. You go 5-6 and lose this game.
Chiefs are going to win this game by 14.
Wow.
The Broncos defense is just good. I think they just found that out last week. They're just flat out good. They do a really good job. And I think the Chiefs are going to bring a ton of pressure, and Danny Dimes typically does not like the heat. And I think you see him throw the ball. I think you see Dimes throw at least a couple interceptions. I think the Chiefs win this thing 31-17, something like that. I don't think it's relatively close.
So you think it's a blowout?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm inclined to agree. Dan Jones last week had 3 fumbles and an interception. Now they recovered 2 of them, so he only ended up with 2 turnovers. The week before against the Steelers, he threw 3 interceptions and had 3 fumbles and lost 2 of them. He had 5 turnovers himself. So he's got 6 fumbles and 4 picks the last 2 weeks. That's the Danny Dimes we watched for a long time in New York. So, and the Colts have a good offensive line, so there's no excuses anymore. He's got receivers and an offensive line. This is weirdly, it's a defining game for the Colts too, right? Like, hadn't looked good the last couple weeks. They found a way to beat the Falcons 2 weeks ago on bye last week, and now you're coming off a bye. You're going to Kansas City, a chance to show everybody that this is not a fluke. We're for real. We're a contender. And so if what you're saying happens, I think we're all going to be like, okay, the Colts are probably going to win the division, get spanked in the playoffs. But if they go out and win an Arrowhead, people have to actually start taking them seriously. I would love it if the Colts went into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs and beat Mahomes and made them 5-6. Don't see it happening. Don't necessarily know it's going to be a blowout because I just think a lot of the public, even with the records, are going to be on the Chiefs. Those games tend to be tight, but I'm going to say the Chiefs win this by 4. And I just don't see...
If they lose this, the Chiefs dynasty is dead. They've had plenty of weeks to turn it around. I mean, it's just...
I agree with that, for sure.
I mean, but not dead in the sense, like, Mahomes is always going to be good, but, you'll see Kelsey retire at the end of the year.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of different changes.
Who knows how much longer Andy Reid's there at this point, right? Like, you're going to have, you got a couple of young guys in Rashee Rice, but Chris Jones is getting old on the defense. Like, how long is Spagnuolo going to be there as a DC? I agree. You're kind of seeing the end of it.
I thought last week they would, draw a line in the sand, and that's a game they normally win to turn their season around. And if they can't do it here against the Colts at home, I think the season's, even if they sneak in as a wild card at that point afterwards, I don't think they're going to go anywhere.
No, I completely agree. And we've kind of seen that from this Chiefs team all year. This is we kind of have given them a pass. Like, no, they're just waiting for the playoffs. Well, now they need to get in the playoffs. So
they just haven't looked good.
Okay, let's go to. Do you want to do one more? Do you want to do the Sunday night game, Bucs at the Rams? Rams are a 7-point favorite. I think that's kind of a big number. You're going to pick the Rams. I know I'm a Matthew Stafford guy too. I kind of have a feeling the Bucs go in there and win that game outright.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think the Bucs are due for a win. I think the Rams are riding high. It's hard to get up back multiple weeks. They just played a huge divisional game. They had back-to-back divisional games. They went at San Francisco and then had to come back and win a really tight game against Seattle. Now you got to get up again for a Sunday night game. Tampa Bay hadn't been as good as of late after a really hot start to the season. What have they lost? 3 of their last 4 and 2 in a row. This is a huge game for them. And I just don't think the Rams have all that much home field advantage. I think Baker and company actually come out and win this game outright. That's my prediction.
Don't hate the pick.
Think they win it.
I'll take the Rams in a close one, but don't hate the pick at all. I think they'll come out flat, like you said, played 2 divisional opponents in a row. I just think the Rams defense is so much better than the Bucs. I don't know if that's true, but it seems that way. The Bucs seem to be, Buffalo hung 40-something on them last week, and then
44, yep.
Yeah, New England scored
28.
And before that, they were playing okay, but
They
it seems
played
like
some-
they're bad teams. But yeah, I don't know. I'll say the Rams by a field goal. They'll keep it going. I think they're just a little bit better. Feels like the wheels are kind of falling off the old Bucs
wagon.
Yeah, it's falling off the wagon, and I don't know. I still ultimately think they'll find a way to make the playoffs. So
Yeah.
is that divisions?
No,
horrific.
they're gonna win the division. I mean,
Right.
well, really, I didn't realize the Panthers are actually one game behind them.
Right.
But I don't believe.
And did they beat them or did they not play it? I can't remember.
I think the Bucks beat them already
Okay.
once. I could be wrong though. All right, let's go over to some college football. We have the new college football playoff rankings out. Your Texas Tech Red Raiders, number 5 in the CFP rankings right now.
5.
They are knocking on the door of a first-round bye. If they win out, I think they're going to have a good shot to get it because
if they win out, that's what I was thinking. I go, if they win out, I think they will get it, right? Because
it'll be interesting to see what happens with, like, let's say, like, because, like, here's the thing. Like, there's scenarios where they don't because I think Indiana and Ohio State are both going to get a bye, assuming that they play in the Big Ten Championship undefeated. It doesn't matter who wins that one.
Right.
Whoever wins the SEC Championship will get a bye. And so my thing is, if A&M finishes undefeated but say loses to Georgia in the SEC title game, then Tech wouldn't get a bye because I feel like A&M 12-1, Georgia 12-1, both get the bye.
Yeah,
but
there's things that still have
but
to go
if
their
say
way.
Georgia lost in the SEC title game and now Georgia's got 2 losses, they might still put Tech over them if Tech wins the Big 12. I don't know.
They probably would, but yeah, I agree. If the SEC schools have 1 loss, obviously they're going to get it.
And here's and it's interesting too because Ole Miss theoretically, Ole Miss or Georgia, Georgia has the tiebreaker because they played head to head. Ole Miss and Georgia, Ole Miss could finish 11-1, not play for an SEC title, and it's like they finished 11-1 in the SEC. Tech finishes 11-1 in the Big 12. You're going to give the bye. You're going to rank Tech over Ole Miss. Like that's kind of crazy to me if you think about it.
Right.
Tech's only loss is to Arizona State, and Ole Miss's only losses to Georgia on the road. I mean, but then Tech wins the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, the problem is for Ole Miss in the actual ranking, they have Texas Tech ahead of them now. If Texas Tech wins and then wins the Big 12 championship, they're definitely not going to jump them.
No, they're
because
not.
Ole Miss
which
is
dumb
only
to me.
playing. Ole Miss is but the committee's already spoken and said, "Hey, Texas Tech is ranked here," which I don't necessarily agree with that either. Especially Ole Miss's only loss being to Georgia, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what it is. They're not going to switch that up. You know what I mean? It just won't happen at this point.
It likely won't. Okay, what about Alabama lost last week?
Right, and they dropped to 10.
They dropped to 10. Oklahoma jumps them. They're at 8. Oklahoma all of a sudden is back in the picture.
Yep.
They have, I believe, 2 relatively tough games left.
They
have
play Missouri
at home. At home against
still at, right?
Yeah, and then they have LSU at home. They might be in the playoff.
They're going to get in.
Well, here's the thing: if they lose one of those 2 games, they're out for sure.
For sure.
But it's good, man. This is going to play out really interesting. Okay, here question: Texas dropped to 17, losing to Georgia. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Georgia was by far the better team. If you look at the final score, Texas got dominated. They didn't get dominated most of the game. It was 14-10 late in the third quarter. And after Texas cuts it to 4, the next time Arch Manning touches the ball, it's 28-10 because Georgia scored to go up 21-10 and then did a surprise onside kick, scored again, and it's 28-10, and then they end up tacking on one more at the end. Looks bad. I get it. And from my perspective, I don't think Texas, the way they've looked, is going to beat A&M anyway. But let's say they do. Do you still think they get in with that loss at that 35, like losing that in that fashion to Georgia? With the losses they have, do they get in with 3 losses here?
It just depends who's in front of them. I think, and Bailey's going to hate this, if Vanderbilt ends up 8-2, and Texas ends up 8-3, and Texas has the head-to-head win against
10-2, 9-3.
Sorry, 10-2 and 9-3, and Texas has the head-to-head win over Vanderbilt. I think Texas, after beating A&M, will jump Vanderbilt.
Yeah, they probably will.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that that's the best thing for college football, but I think you have to do it to set the precedent of we're not going to penalize you for playing Ohio State week 1.
It's the same thing. What about Miami? What about Utah? What about USC? All these teams who have 2 losses, and Texas sits there with 3, and their losses are to Georgia and Ohio State. And
it's going to be really interesting to see what they do. I think ultimately, if they do beat, and I think they almost set it up for this, someone tweeted Texas is done. I disagree. The only issue that I think they run into is I don't know what the deal is. So is there a scenario where Georgia Tech doesn't play in the ACC championship game? Like here's the thing. If Georgia Tech beats Georgia, right? Somehow, just say they do. I'm not saying they will. And losing the ACC championship game with 1 loss after a Georgia win, they'll put them in.
Oh, no,
over
for
Texas.
sure. 100%.
Right. So, I mean, that's the problem with them being right in front of them. You have USC in front of them.
There is no Georgia Tech is already in the ACC title game because they have one loss in the conference.
Right.
And there's only one wait, let me make sure that's correct. Hold on, because I was looking at the wrong. I take it back. No, I take it back. I'm wrong. I'm looking at their overall record. There is a way, because actually everybody in the top 4 has one loss in the ACC. So Georgia Tech, Virginia, Pittsburgh, and SMU. So actually this week is to go to the or to the ACC title game. They play Pittsburgh, I believe, at home. So if they beat Pittsburgh this week on Saturday, they will be in the ACC title game. I agree with you. If they go 11-1 and lose in the ACC title game, it's the same thing as SMU last year. They deserve, I would say as a Texas fan, they deserve to be in over Texas. They have one loss. Texas has 3. Texas should not be in.
Right. And the problem with BYU is, say they win their next couple games and they lose to Texas Tech again, right? And that are we going to penalize these guys? And I think they ultimately won't. Not to say that I think Texas is probably a better team than BYU. I think most people would agree with that. Vegas would agree with that. But if you're the only losses are number 5 Texas Tech twice, right? I mean, in one of them's in the conference championship game, I think they're ultimately going to get in as well. I don't think you can have Utah, who they have right behind them there, jump them because they beat Utah head to head.
I think
it's impossible to do. In my opinion,
the only thing I would say is the only difference between them, it's not a big difference, is Georgia Tech at least went to Colorado in the non-conference, and I'm not saying that's like a tough game now, but at the time you're going to a Power 5 conference opponent. The non-conference schedule for BYU was Portland State at home, Stanford at home, and at East Carolina. And then they did not play they didn't beat a single ranked team except Utah all year when they finished, if they do win out. So I agree. What will they do? I would think BYU would get in because that's the precedent they've set, and it's going to look bad to put a 3, especially if Texas is the 5th or 6th SEC school to get in.
Yeah.
They're not going to put them in. Texas is going to need some things to break their way. It's going to suck because if they beat A&M that last game, it's like, well, then why did they play Ohio State? Because if they're 2 losses, they do get in over BYU. They do get in over any of those one-loss teams that I think they would get in over them.
Well, I don't know about BYU though, because like I said, the committee is trying to set the precedent where you only lost one time, and then you're playing in your conference championship game. You don't get penalized for losing that. So it's still one loss. Now, sure, you can make the argument, okay, Texas lost, 2 games, whatever. The Florida loss, look, I get the Swamp's a tough place to play. It's still
a bad loss.
It's a bad loss.
But I'm just saying, I actually don't think, I think a 2-loss SEC school would get in over any 1-loss conference to lose. If they lost in the conference championship game, because I think Texas at 2 losses would be ranked ahead of BYU and Georgia Tech anyway going into that game. Meaning I think Texas would be, if Texas only had 2 losses, they were what, like 12th going into this week. They would be ahead of, where's BYU right now? 11, and what is Georgia Tech? 16. Texas would be ahead of both of them. So if they had 2 losses and then they go beat A&M, they're going to be way ahead of both those teams anyway. So that's what I'm saying is I don't think that. Now, if Texas was below them, yeah, they wouldn't jump them. But the way they had set it up was Texas was going to get in with 2 wins, 2 losses over anybody else, because they're not going to leave a 2-loss SEC school out no matter what. In my opinion, the only team that could possibly get left out with 2 losses in the SEC is Vanderbilt, which I think is bullshit. I think Vanderbilt deserves to be in if they have 2 losses, and I really hope Vanderbilt does get in because I don't think Texas has any chance anyway to make any noise. So to me, I don't know. Looking at it right now, I mean, who's locked in? Who's locked in to go no matter what? Ohio State.
Yep, Ohio State.
Indiana.
Yep.
A&M.
I would say Georgia no matter what.
Georgia. Yep. Ole Miss is locked in because they only have 1 game left. They've got to 10 wins. They're 10-2 at worst. That's 5. We're going to not say Texas Tech yet because they could still lose a regular season game and not get in. So 5. Oregon's not locked in. I guess that's it. I think I would say those 5 are the only that, like, no matter what happens the rest of the way, they're going to get in. Like, because Georgia could only lose 1 more game. A&M is in, Indiana's in, Ohio State's in. So I think 5 teams are locked in. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 are locked in. I think Tech is like 95% to get in because who does Tech have left?
Oh, great question.
They've got, they go to West Virginia. So unless they lose at West Virginia, where they'll be a 18 to 21 point favorite,
and even if they were to lose that game, they could win, they would still be in the Big 12 championship. Correct.
They'd still get.
They would have to lose 2 in a row.
They have to lose 2 in a row. Now, if they did lose 2 in a row, they would be out.
Oh, for sure.
But I don't think that will happen.
I don't think that's going to happen.
So let's say, for sake of argument, then Texas Tech is in. So that's 6. Oregon, looking at Oregon. Oregon's like, what, probably 90% to get in?
Right.
They have only, well, I take it back. Okay, that's actually interesting. Oregon's got 1 loss. They have SC and Washington left. If they lose one of those games and don't get to a Big Ten championship game, now you have a 2-loss. It's here we go again. Like, you have a 2-loss Oregon team. They're probably in, but like, you're comparing them to Texas. It was 3 losses and played Ohio State in the non-conference, and Oregon played Montana State and Oklahoma State in the Oklahoma State and Oregon State in the non-conference. So it's just, I don't know. It's shitty. I wish Texas hadn't played Ohio State. Notre Dame's going to get in, right? Who do they have left?
God's team.
Notre Dame's going to get in. Do they have anyone they could lose to left? Although it is a Pope year, so
that is a good point.
Syracuse at home and at Stanford. Got it. How great would it be if Frank Reich and the boys pulled an upset on the last week of the season and knocked Notre Dame out of the playoff picture? God, it would make my year.
Not going to happen.
Okay, just tell me, who do you think, we'll wrap it up with this. Who gets in? Okay, of the teams in the top 25 right now, give me your 12 that get in.
Okay. Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Georgia, Texas Tech, Ole Miss. I will say Oklahoma's going to get in. Okay. Oregon's going to get in.
So the top 8 are all in.
Notre Dame, of course.
Top
God's
9.
team's in. I'm going to say, let me look at this. Let me look at
Bama's schedule.
BYU's.
BYU has Cincinnati on the road, and then they're home against UCF.
I mean, if they beat Cincinnati,
that's their season.
Yeah. I'm going to say BYU gets in. I think they're going to do it. I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't think they're that good of a team, but I think they're going to get in. I think if they played Utah now, Utah would probably spank them. But I'll say BYU. Where did this go? It's not pulling up again.
Utah's 12, Miami's 13,
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's 14. Don't forget, one of these 12 has to be
right.
Yep.
A non-power 5.
Looking at this, I think Texas is almost dead. I'm not saying they're dead.
That's what someone
just
was
really
saying.
Going to be tough.
It's going to be tough, but if the right teams,
they have to break their way a lot.
Yeah, but for me, I guess Utah's only losses are to BYU and Tech. But for Texas, I mean, if they really, that's why it sucks for them that they played Ohio State. I wish the committee would kind of set a precedent and actually put them in the simple fact that
I know.
I just don't think the problem is I just don't think Texas is very good.
No, they're not.
If they've looked better and had 3 losses where it's like this is a really good team, they lost by like a last-second field goal. The thing about the Georgia game is, look, the score did look worse. There's no doubt. I don't know if they scored at the end, but they were never really they were never going to win that game. I mean, it wasn't, in my opinion, it was never a doubt of what was going to happen after one quarter. I think Kirby Smart outcoached Sark too. They had that onside kick look. You'd tell all week they were planning to do that at some point in the game, and It ended up working. Anyway, that's
Jeff
the problem
Banks
with
and
it.
Pole Assassin, but nearly had a heart attack on the sideline.
Yeah, Pole Assassin. If Texas was 7-3 and looked better, I would love to make a case for them. I just don't. They did beat Oklahoma. It's a tough situation. That's why I'm with you. It sucks because I think if we don't do something, then we can lose those early good games because everybody's going to be like, why did they play it? Even Lane Kiffin talking about Texas A&M. I get what he's saying in the sense because are they the best team in the country? No. But the fact that they went to Notre Dame and won that game, right? And he's saying they should at least be ranked over Indiana. You don't have to rank them over Ohio State.
I don't agree with that.
I do because they've played tougher teams in Indiana.
But okay, that is true. They did play tougher teams in Indiana.
That's what the point he's trying to make. It's just that simple.
They haven't played anybody, but yes.
Correct.
Because they beat
tougher teams.
Notre Dame is the only team they've played.
Correct. Exactly. But that's his point. He goes, why are we even talking about playing that game if that doesn't get them ranked ahead of Indiana? I mean,
no, I agree with that. I agree with that.
That's the only problem I think everybody has with it is like these preseason rankings come too much into play. If no one was preseason ranked, whatever, and you look at that, and A&M's undefeated in the SEC, they're ranked ahead of Indiana, who's in the Big Ten. Would they be ahead of Ohio State? No. Ohio State beat Texas. Ohio State just looks like the best team in the country.
Yeah, they do. But I agree. And yeah, you look at like who A&M has played. They've played nobody, but they went to Notre Dame and won, and they shouldn't have won that game. Missed extra point and a phantom holding call on 4th and 13.
I'm glad you agree with that.
I do agree. I think Notre Dame should have won that game. They were the better team all night. Anyway, no, I agree with what you're saying. I think this is the problem, and it's why when we head to expansion at whatever point, I am weary about the committee. I wish they would do what you say and come out and have a thing that says, okay, this is what we're going to wait and how we're going to wait non-conference games and how we're going to, but I just don't think they will do that.
Tier 1 wins.
I just don't. They should have a system just like college basketball. I just don't think they'll do it. They just have never had any rules, never had any reasoning, and it's just a bunch of random people in the room that half of them don't know shit about football. Condoleezza Rice and company over there picking random playoff teams. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You have biased commissioners of different conferences. There's no. It makes no sense. Like, you have all this money pouring into this sport. It's such a big deal, and just the most broken way to pick who goes. So they do need some sort of system. I'm not saying going back to the BCS, but have some sort of rating system, some sort of, like you're saying, tiers of wins and things like that. Some type of metrics we can look at and say, okay, here's why this team A, deserves to go over Team B. How do we weight conferences? How do we weight non-conference games? How do we rank strength of schedule, strength of record, all these different things? And we have none of that. And it makes it really difficult knowing who goes.
If Miami wins out, are they in the ACC championship game, or do we not know?
I believe
because they lost to Louisville, and they lost to Louisville and SMU, right?
They lost to Louisville and SMU.
So that's going to be super interesting. If they don't play in that game and they win out and they have 2 losses, and it's like, okay, they beat Notre Dame head-to-head.
So they would have I think they're going to have a tough time because Miami's got 2 losses. SMU, Pittsburgh, Virginia, and Georgia Tech all have 1 loss in the conference. So they would need 2 of those teams. No, they would need 3 of those teams to lose, and that would have to include SMU, because if it's SMU, so if SMU finishes with 2 losses, they go above Miami because they beat them head-to-head, right? So if, say, Georgia Tech and SMU both win out, and Virginia and Pittsburgh lose their last game, Miami has 2 losses, they would still not go. SMU would go over Miami. So they need a lot of help. They need essentially 3 of the 4 ACC teams to lose another game. Now, Pittsburgh and Georgia Tech play each other, so there's 1 loss right there. Virginia only has Virginia Tech left at home, and SMU has Louisville at home and at Cal. So it theoretically could happen. I think Georgia Tech beats Pittsburgh this. Wait, does Pittsburgh have 2 or 1 game left? Oh, well, here you go. Here's what Miami needs to have happen. Pittsburgh needs to beat Georgia Tech this week. Pittsburgh beats Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's got 2 losses. Miami and Pittsburgh play the last week. They can then beat Pittsburgh. They would be they would be tied with Georgia Tech. They'd be ahead of Pittsburgh, and then they would need help from somebody else of those other 2 to get in. They would still need help, but it's possible. Is there any way, does Miami have any shot to get in the playoff if they don't win the ACC?
I don't know. That's what I was asking.
I don't think they should.
Know. I mean, if they're ahead of you, I think the committee did something stupid having Utah ranked ahead of them. Because Miami did beat Notre Dame, and that's a much better win than
anybody
Utah's has. I know Utah only lost to BYU and Texas Tech, but yeah, anyway, I don't know. We'll see how it all shakes out.
And their losses, even though I can't stand Miami, are by 3 and 6. They lost to Louisville by 3 and SMU by 6. Right? Now, they were huge favorites in those games, but why are we grading what they should have done? They lost by 3 and by 6, so close games, right? And one was on the road in overtime, and penalty kept the game alive, or they probably win it, and we're not even talking about this. But they still have to win 2 road games. But then that
also goes back to, you make the reverse argument, where it's like, they beat Notre Dame head-to-head, they look way better week 1. Obviously, they should have won the game by more, right? But they ended up, a 3-point game?
Yep.
And Notre Dame lost to
A&M by 1.
So, I mean, that's what Levitard was saying, who's a Miami guy. He's like, I get what you're trying to say. I know they won head-to-head. Unfortunately, this is what happens when they play those week 1 games. It's like, yeah, people are like, yeah, they beat Notre Dame, but it's not the team that Notre Dame is now.
But see, I think it's the same thing. It's like now, so we're gonna weight one more than the other. Like we're gonna say, well, Notre Dame deserves to be in because they only lost to A&M by 1 early in the year, but we're not gonna then weight Miami beating Notre Dame the same.
Oh, no, it goes both ways.
We're equating the loss to A&M by 1 more valuable than the fact that Miami beat them. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, but then Levitar was also saying, like, you're double. Like, he goes both ways. Like you said, they're double-digit favorites. They lost both those games. Like, you can't.
Yeah, I agree.
Lose those
but
games.
I just don't think that that's ever been a factor. Like, we have said, okay, we're looking at strength of schedule, but we should not be looking at you're a double-digit favorite. You lost to this team. Now, if they were losing to a team with a losing record, it's one thing. But SMU is tied for first place in the ACC, and Louisville's been ranked all year. It's not like they were bad. They didn't lose to bad teams, and I hate Miami, but they did not lose to bad teams. Like, Louisville's been pretty solid until just last week, and they lost to Cal as an 18-point favorite. SMU is tied for first place with one loss in the ACC. So it's not like they're losing to bad teams, right? Notre Dame lost back-to-back first 2 weeks. They're in because of their name brand and because of recency bias and because of preseason rankings. If you take preseason rankings and name bias out of it, Notre Dame is not in the playoff. If you switch them and Vanderbilt has Notre Dame's resume, Vanderbilt's not number 9. They're not. They're in because of their name and because of the fact that they lost the first 2 games of the season.
Yeah, that's what always happens.
That's what it is. And that's frustrating to me.
With when you lose.
Yes. Okay. That's all I got here. Do you have anything else on college football?
No.
All right. Well, that's all we got for this week's show. Hopefully, we'll have our 100th episode next week, and
have quite the show planned out.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We say
that. Big Dog will at least come in here and raise hell for the 100th episode.
We'll at least get him on, so there'll be some sort of commotion in here. But
shout out Hellraiser's a song, by the way. Look at that.
Never heard.
Comia, SA Voice,
Chaos Records, Beard Pen.
I think that's all I got.
You can still find the Beard Pen online, but I don't think he actually sells it. I think he just steals the money. Like, I think you just pay it and then it never ships out. Yeah. That's what it seems like. Looks like a front for money laundering.
Business.
Not to call him out on that or anything. Okay. Anyway, that's all we got for this week. We'll be back next week for the 100th episode. And make sure to check out our college football show for our pick'em this week. We didn't do one last week, so we will have some great picks for you because we've been smoking hot on our picks this year. So thanks, guys, for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week.